What's up, everyone? Welcome to the December 21st edition of the NBA Injury Report, brought to you by BetMGM. I'm your host, Adam Scherer. You can follow me on Twitter at ShipMyMoneyDFS. And we have an 11-game NBA slate with a ton of injury news to talk about today. But before we get to that, click on the link in the description below, sign up and make a deposit at BetMGM, place a real money wager of at least $10, and receive a risk-free first bet up to $1,000 in addition to 2 free months of Stokastic Plus Platinum using our prop betting tool on the Stokastic site. Right now, the highest expected value bet on BetMGM is over 10.5 rebounds for Nikola Vucevic. So click the link, sign up, make your deposit, and place your risk-free wager on over 10.5 rebounds for Vooch. If you lose, you get your money back and you get to try it again. You can also bet on anything else you want, but Vooch grading out as the top bet right now. Click that link and take advantage of the offer. Now, looking at the injury report, we have a ton of injuries, starting with the Detroit Pistons. Killian Hayes is questionable. If he misses this game, we could see Amadou Diallo return to the rotation and the Pistons keep a somewhat similar rotation. But you would still need either Corey Joseph or Alec Burks to step into the starting lineup in place of Hayes and play more minutes, or you would need Jaden Ivey to step up and play more minutes as well. So there are ways that this can go where it benefits Ivy, it benefits Burks, maybe a slight benefit to Corey Joseph. If Diallo doesn't or nobody enters the rotation in place of Hayes and you get a 9-man rotation, then it's beneficial for everybody because you just have more minutes available. You would get more Jaden Ivey minutes. You potentially see Sadiq Bey play a little bit more with Bojan Bogdanovic playing more minutes at the 2. So if this turns into a 9-man rotation, it would actually be really good for Detroit. All of that being said, it is a tough matchup at Philadelphia where they're huge dogs. For the Bulls, Alex Caruso is questionable. They are expected to be without Javonte Green and Derek Jones Jr. So if Caruso's out, there are a lot of minutes available. You would likely see Ayo Dosunmu move back into the starting lineup, but you'd also get more minutes for Goran Dragic and Kobe White. For Golden State, James Wiseman is questionable, and they are already shorthanded with no JaMychal Green, no Steph Curry, obviously, no Klay Thompson. So if Weissman is out, you are likely getting even more minutes from Jonathan Kuminga amongst the other guys at the end of the bench for Golden State, but it would make Kuminga's minutes seemingly more secure. For Boston, Marcus Smart is questionable. If he is out, it solidifies playing time for Derek White and Malcolm Brogdon. Toronto has Gary Trent as questionable after missing their last few games. If he is back, he should move into the starting lineup and replace Juancho Hernan-Gomez, most likely. It would also take minutes away from Malachi Flynn. If he's out, it's likely that we get Hernan-Gomez back in the starting lineup as a mediocre value option, and we could potentially take some shots on a cheap Malachi Flynn as well, although his floor is still very, very low. For Minnesota, Kyle Anderson and Rudy Gobert are questionable. We got Austin Rivers starting in place of Anderson and playing about 35 minutes last game. We see Naz Reid starting in place of Gobert. If Reid plays, he has gotten more expensive, but he still looks like a fantastic center option. If Anderson is out, we also should see more playing time for Jaden McDaniels. For Orlando, Franz Wagner is questionable. If he's out, I expect that we see more playing time for Cole Anthony, potentially for Terrence Ross, but also some more production will be available for Markelle Fultz and Paolo Banchero. For Portland, Yusuf Nurkic is questionable. Drew Eubanks started and played 32 minutes last game. He would likely start again and play at least 26 to 28 minutes. Damian Lillard gets more usage if Nurk is out as well. For OKC, Darius Bazley and Josh Giddey have both gone from out to questionable. If they're back in, it just makes Oklahoma City's rotation more of a mess. It also takes, if Giddey is in, it also takes some production away from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. For the Lakers, Russell Westbrook is questionable. We know that Anthony Davis is out. LeBron is probable. If Westbrook misses, it's even better for LeBron because he will just be playing every minute without Westbrook or Davis. It also opens up more playing time for the trio of Dennis Schroeder, Patrick Beverly, and Kendrick Nunn, although they would all still be relatively risky options. For the Kings, Domantas Sabonis and Harrison Barnes are questionable. If Barnes is out, I expect Terrence Davis to start and play 24 to 26 minutes. It would also open up more playing time for Malik Monk. If Sabonis is out, I'm not sure who would start in his place. It could be Metu, it could be Keta, it could be Len, it could be Holmes. If it's Len or Holmes, I would be interested in them as value options because we know they are very good point per minute players. If it's Keta or Metu, I would be more hesitant to go there. And for the Clippers, Paul George, Reggie Jackson, Norman Powell, Ivica Zubac are all questionable. Powell shouldn't have too much of an impact here unless other players are out as well. If Reggie Jackson is out, you're likely getting around 28 to 30 minutes from John Wall, who will look good. If Paul George is out, in addition to Jackson, Wall looks even better, but also Kawhi Leonard looks good if Paul George is out. If Zubac is out, you could see more minutes for either Covington, Batum, Diakati, depending on who else is out. Pay attention to who is starting at center there. So to recap, Killian Hayes is questionable for the Pistons. Alex Caruso, questionable for the Bulls. James Weissman, questionable for Golden State. Marcus Smart, questionable for the Celtics. Gary Trent Jr., questionable for the Raptors. Kyle Anderson and Rudy Gobert are both questionable for Minnesota. Franz Wagner, questionable for Orlando. Darius Bazley and Josh Giddey are both questionable for OKC. Yusuf Nurkic is questionable for the Blazers. Russell Westbrook, questionable for the Lakers. Domantas Sabonis and Harrison Barnes are both questionable for the Kings. And Paul George, Reggie Jackson, Norman Powell, and Ivica Zubac are all questionable tonight for the Clippers.